This is Austin St. John, Jason, the original Red Ranger. You are watching the Morphin Network.
So, Will, how you been doing? How are you doing? How's your day been?
I'm doing great, man. Yeah, I'm just living life after Power Rangers, which consists of getting old and decrepit, and my bones are starting to hurt. No, I'm doing great, man. I got a lot of fun things planned and lots of things I'm working on, so I'm excited. Yeah, and good to be talking to you guys today.
Let's start the interview. So, Will, tell us about yourself.
Well, I mean, I'm 23 years old. I'm an actor. I do a lot of fitness modeling. I'm also an author, and I recently started a podcast, so you guys should check that out. Better, Stronger, Faster. That's my new podcast that I'm doing, and we're bringing on everybody from the health and fitness world, actors, celebrities, just anybody we find interesting that we want to talk to. So yeah, those are kind of the things that I'm working on right now. A lot of people know me for playing the Red Power Ranger on Power Rangers Ninja Steel, where I was Brody, the affable and lovable Red Ranger. Lots of butts were kicked and many one-liners were said. But yeah, that was a fantastic experience. 9 months in New Zealand filming with a great cast. We made so many memories. So yeah, it was fun. It was really fantastic. Do you guys mind if I walk around a bit? Because I'm going to go pour myself some coffee here.
Yeah, sure.
Joe, go ahead, man.
Okay, cool. You guys get more of my place.
It sounds like you had an epic good time with Power Rangers.
You did.
Epic would be the word. Yes, I absolutely did. More phenomenal would also be great.
Yeah, all right. How did you get started with acting?
Let's see. So with acting, I was actually studying economics for 3 years in college. So I was at UC San Diego, and yeah, 3 years as an economics major. I did really well in that. I was doing a lot of internships. I was president of our economic society, and I was really dissatisfied though. I wasn't happy with my career, the way my life was going. I didn't want to get into economics anymore. So I was asking myself, like, okay, if you were on your deathbed and you look back, like, what regrets are you going to have? You know, is there anything that you wish you had done that you're not going to do? And I thought, you know what? I've always wanted to get into acting. Actually, one of the roles when I was a kid, I remember watching Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and I saw Taylor Lautner with Shark Boy. And I remember as a kid, like, I used to kind of look like him as a kid. And I remember thinking, I could do that. Like, I do karate. I can do all that stuff. Like, how come I'm not doing this? Yeah, so you fast forward all the way, and then I'm like 20 years old in college, and I said, you know what, screw it, I'm going for this. So I literally stopped economics, and I completely turned 180, and I set a goal for myself, and I said within 1 year, I want to book the starring role on a major TV show. Doesn't really matter what it is, but just within 1 year, that's the goal. And I worked like really hard on that for a year, and by the end of the year, I had booked the role of the Red Ranger on Ninja Steel, and things were starting to take off from there. I had done commercials, music videos, just lots of different little projects. I did an independent film, stuff like that. So it was just a steady progression. And then, yeah, I got to put on that red spandex, and I was a happy man.
Did you originally audition for Red?
So you don't actually audition for a color. Basically, everybody gets the same audition sides. So when you go into audition with the, whether it's casting director or the producers or whatever, you're pretty much all doing the same scenes. Even the girls would do the same sort of scenes, except that their character name would be different. And basically, I think based off of how you portray yourself, the way that you play the scene, they sort of start categorizing you as like, oh, you'd be a good Blue Ranger, you'd be a good Red Ranger, you'd be, yeah, so I didn't necessarily audition for Red. Funny story about that though is every time I went into the auditions, I would always wear blue because blue is my favorite color, and I always thought I looked better in blue. And the other thing was every guy that would audition would be wearing red, and I remember thinking like, I get what you guys are doing, like you want to be the Red Ranger, and everybody's wearing red, but it was so typical. I was like, man, you guys got to think outside the box. So I was like, forget red, I'm gonna wear blue. and luckily I got the role of Red, so I was happy about it. Weird reverse psychology.
I've always said this, like, blue's my favorite color. I've always said this, the Blue Ranger really does not get a lot of love. So either way, like, it would have been cool. It's really cool that you actually went going in blue and stuff.
Yeah.
I would have been perfectly happy as Blue. I mean, Red was a really, really fun role to play, but I think with the Red Ranger, there's a lot of basically there's almost like baggage surrounding that. They expect you to act like a certain type of leader, and it's always like, hey guys, let's do this, let's do that, and like you tell everyone what to do. But there are different styles of leadership. There are leaders that lead by example and don't necessarily tell people what to do, but rather, you know, they do the best that they can and everybody follows. And then there are leaders that, you know, they kind of shout orders, they bark orders, that sort of thing. So it's tricky because, like, I always wanted to give the role my own sort of interpretation. I wanted to be more of a lead by example kind of leader rather than a, like, hey, Yellow, you can go stand over there, I'll kick this monster's butt. Like, I was always like, I mean, I don't know. Red Ranger likes to steal other people's thunder. I can tell you that. Like, it would be so funny reading scenes, and somebody would be whooping a monster, like Gold Ranger would be fighting some monster, and then Red Ranger would swoop in, and he'd be like, I got this, Levi. You could sit this one out. I was like, whoa, what? I have to say this? But yeah, it's fun though.
Awesome. Speaking of Power Rangers, how do you get in the world of fitness? I mean.
Man, fitness, like, I've been pretty fit ever since I was a kid. I did karate for 7 years, and then I got into track and field. I got into competitive arm wrestling as well, which people don't even know is a sport. It's an actual sport. You can go to tournaments. There's world championships. It's so fun. So I did that from when I was like 13 to 18. And around the time when I was 13 and I started trying to train for arm wrestling, I realized I needed to be stronger. And I got really into the gym. So I started lifting weights at like 12 or 13. And it's just been a passion of mine ever since I was a kid. I always loved Arnold Schwarzenegger and Stallone and all of these like big action heroes. So I got really into it from that. And it's something that hasn't left me since. I love going to the gym every day. It's something fun for me. And I really like to promote to other people the power of fitness, because like when you self-invest in yourself through fitness, or whether it's through education or whatever it happens to be, you have more confidence. You can accomplish more of your goals. You have a better outlook on life. You're happier in general. So I always, if you're down in the dumps, if life is difficult for you right now, if you're beating yourself up, if you're not getting where you want to go in life, really like think about going to the gym maybe, or eating healthy and really investing in yourself, building up your body, and building up your mind as well. And then you can really just attack life, on your own terms, and be more proactive and be happier. So for me, it's not so much about fitness and having a vein on your bicep and who has more of a six-pack, but it's really about a quality of life. Like, do you want to be happy, vibrant, healthy, excited, energetic every day? So that's pretty much why I promote it. And because having a six-pack is nice.
Leonard, next question.
Oh, before I get to that, so you said you used to do arm wrestling competitions. Here's a question: have you seen Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, Over the Top. It's a fantastic arm wrestling movie. And
it's the only arm wrestling movie.
It's pretty much the only arm wrestling movie. There's also a recent television series called Game of Arms that was on AMC, and it was after, I think, The Walking Dead. So they did one season of that, and then they were filming a second season. They got canceled. But it would just go around to all of these different arm wrestling teams around the country, show how they train, these guys' backstories, and then they would all meet up for these big tournaments. And it was just exciting. It was like I went to a few of the tapings of it. This is like just before I got into acting. And I was trying to get on the show because I was like, this is perfect. Like, I want to be into acting and stuff, and I love arm wrestling. But I wasn't to make it. But yeah, so there was that. Over the Top, though, a lot of the guys that were actually in that film were real arm wrestlers. So a lot of those guys I know, and Stallone really helped like put the sport on the map.
Dang.
I actually do remember they did an entire documentary about Canon Films, which is the production studio that made Over the Top, and talked about how that movie, even though it didn't do well in the box office, was important when it came to arm wrestling competition.
Yeah, like we were all so happy about it, but I think the rest of the population was like, "What the hell is this?"
So Will, so tell us what was the audition process like for Power Rangers? I think you spoke about it earlier. Can you give us a little more detail on how the audition process went?
Yeah, so basically, either you get the audition from your agent, or I mean, that's how I got the audition, and then yeah, you're pretty much just told in a very vague way that you're going to be auditioning for like a kids action series, which like I was thinking about it and I was like, I wonder what this could be, and then you go in and you find out it's Power Rangers, and you do your scenes, and you pretty much do like one or two scenes, and it's like the kind of scene that you would expect from a Power Rangers show. So maybe you're helping someone out, maybe you're trying to explain a life lesson to someone, maybe a kid needs your help, maybe you're talking to your parents about something, but it's very low key. And then you get a call back from there. If the callback goes well, then you get another callback, which is like the whole producer one, and they bring in the producers and all that kind of stuff. And what's that called? It's the screen test. So you do your screen test, and then from there, it's kind of a waiting game. And then you got about like 3 months of just waiting to hear back, which I think for a lot of people, it's like excruciating because they want to know so badly. But you just got to forget about it. Like if you keep thinking about it, like it's just going to drive you crazy. So you got to find other things to do. But yeah, it was really cool. So when we did that final, so I'll actually tell you in my first audition for the whole Power Rangers series, I was literally doing this like Coca-Cola commercial the night before in LA, and I was at UC San Diego at the time. So I drove all the way back to UCSD. I was sunburnt. It was like this outdoor beach type thing. I was completely sunburnt. I drove back to SD, and I just saw this email that my agent sent me. She's like, "Hey, we got like an audition for you for this TV show tomorrow in LA at like, it was probably like at 10 a.m. I was like, "Ah, crap." So I got like 5 hours of sleep, drove back to LA, like frantically memorized the sides. Actually, I recorded myself on this audio thing, and I was playing it nonstop in the car. So literally on that like 2 or 3 hour drive, I was just listening to the scene over and over and over again. By the time I got there and did the scene, I was just like mumbling through it. But yeah, so I did that. That went well. And then I went to the callback. And at the callback, for some reason, I had some sort of issue where I just couldn't remember certain words or lines. And I remember thinking, like, man, if they bring me back after this, like, that's a bad choice on their part. Like, man, I sucked at this. But they brought me back, and I was, like, shocked. And then I did really well at the screen test, and things worked out.
Excellent.
And you got the Red Ranger. Oh,
Can't come.
yep. Speaking of Power Rangers, now, did you have any fun or funny behind the scene memories on set or moments?
Oh, so many. Like there can be an entire show about just what goes on behind the scenes. But just think about it. So like 9 young people all working together every single day on this thing, and we're all crazy too. And then it's like we have 2 trailers. So we're all pretty much hanging out in those trailers all day in between, scenes. And then I lived with Caleb and Nico. So if you remember, what's the Yellow Ranger's name? Calvin. And Monty. So I lived with both of those guys. Absolutely love them. They're super great. But we had so many stories on our own. Like sometimes if we got to fly to Sydney, Australia, and we would do a whole lot of just antics. So that was one of my best memories, was going with Nico and Caleb to Sydney, Australia, and we went out to like different bars and restaurants and clubs, and we had a really, really fun time that neither of us remembered that well. It was really fun. We did lots of like all the whole cast, we did lots of sightseeing. We would go on trips together. Jordy, who obviously is from New Zealand, he lives in or his family lives in Rotorua, which they have a different way of pronouncing it, Rotorua or something. But he lives in Rotorua, which we call Rota Vegas, and he took us down there. It's sort of close to where they filmed Lord of the Rings. He took us down there, and that was one of the best experiences of my life. Like, it looked like we were in Lord of the Rings, like rolling green hills and like just absolutely beautiful. Like, you really see the beauty of New Zealand when you get out of the city, because Auckland, the city, is kind of like, it's like San Francisco, except like dingier. You know, it's like kind of dirty inner city stuff, and that's where we lived. We lived like right next to that big sky tower in Auckland. But yeah, Jordy would take us out for trips. We would actually go out diving with a lot of our stunt crew. So we went out diving for these different, it's like these little fish things. It's like, I forget what they're called. They're like these pokey fishes. And when you catch them, you crack them and you open them and you can eat them like right there.
Ooh,
So
that
we
sounds
did
good.
yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. We climbed some mountains. Yeah, beautiful place, but there were so many memories there.
Awesome.
So before we get into it, so we were actually at Power Morphicon for you guys' panel and stuff like that. So we actually saw the trailer for the 25th anniversary episode and what was to come in the next season and stuff like that. So, you know, you'll be it being your, I think, your first or second time at Power Morphicon. Like, what's your thoughts on the Power Ranger community and Power Rangers as a whole? Because like you're now part of that 25-year legacy and this cult phenomenon that Power Rangers has become.
Yeah, so my take on the Power Rangers brand and the legacy and what it means to people, like, I want to see this brand blow up. I want to see it do so well, and I want to see it expand from where it currently is. In 1993, we learned something, and that was that so many young people identified with, you know, outcasted or rejected or rebellious, you know, teens that just didn't really fit into society. And then they have these superpowers, and they're able to contribute to the world, and they're learning life lessons along the way, and you learn about teamwork. You learn about, you know, just helping people out, giving back to the community. Power Rangers encapsulates all of those lessons so well in a format that's really, really good for young kids, but I think that it could go so far beyond that. So I love being part of it, and I love being part of that legacy, but what I really want to see for Power Rangers in the years to come is the same kind of thinking that helped it explode in 1993. I want them to, hopefully Hasbro starts to do this, but if they start to adopt a bit riskier thinking and thinking more outside the box, and okay, we have a younger, well, actually we have a more mature audience now, because kids nowadays are watching Deadpool, they're watching Avengers, they're watching, like, they don't need to be pandered to, they don't need to be, you know, like, given things in a cutesy little format. Like, kids are smart. When I was a kid watching Power Rangers, I remember being like, this is kind of a kiddie show, put on like WWF. So kids are smart. Kids want to get mature content. So I really hope that they adopt the same sort of entrepreneurial, excited, you know, forward thinking that they had in 1993 to really bring this brand back to prominence. Whenever I walk into a store and I see anything Transformers, if I see Ninja Turtles, if I see Avengers, if I see Spider-Man, I always think we should have Power Rangers there. You know, if I'm at McDonald's and I see, you know, the Happy Meals and they have toys, I would think, why is there not a Power Ranger there? If I see, you know, like the costumes for Halloween, I should see Power Rangers everywhere. Like, the brand should become ubiquitous again. It should be seen everywhere. It should be able to inspire kids. And outside of the show, there should be a lot more going on as well in terms of publicity, interviews, marketing, merchandising, things like that. So Hasbro is a big company, and with a big company can come slowness, because big companies are very slow to act. You can't just make decisions like that. You have to get it approved by, you know, whoever your board of directors is. So things can move slowly, but they're a successful brand, and that's important. So hopefully I would really like to see them bring Power Rangers back up to where it deserves to be, which is in the realm of the Batmans and Spider-Mans and Ninja Turtles and like those sort of brands. One thing I would hear from a lot of people when I was doing the show, they would be like, oh, you know, is Power Rangers still on air? And I'd be like, Hell yeah, it's still on air. It's been on air for the past 25 years. That's the worst thing. You never want people to not know that you even exist. Like people need to know, and that takes being a bit more vocal. So yeah, that's kind of what I hope for the brand, because I love the brand and it means so much to so many people, and the potential for it, even 25 years later, the potential is unreal. So I think they have a great brand, and I hope that they execute well with it.
Excellent. Yes.
That's a great dude. That's thank you. I really
Yeah.
we all feel the same way about it, man. We love this brand. We just want to see it do well, but it just takes smart thinking and a lot of action from the right people.
Yeah. Exactly. You're truly correct, and that was epic.
That was epic. Game over. Ninjas winning.
That was actually an epic answer. Like no lie.
That wasn't no. That was
No pun intended.
Yeah, that was an epic answer.
Thank you.
Do you have any upcoming projects you want to share with your fans?
Upcoming projects. So I can tell you guys that right now, I'm getting back into acting later this year, but right now it's really been for me, the focus this year is health and fitness. So I have a book coming out in early 2020, which I think you guys are going to love. It's really awesome. I think this thing has the potential to blow up and be like a bestseller. So you guys definitely keep an eye out for that. It's going to be a great book. It's health and fitness oriented. I'm coming out with a new fitness program, which is going to be, I'm not sure if I'm going to title it this yet, but it's going to be like the Hollywood Physique program. And it's pretty much going to teach people how to get a real, like, nice cut, defined body. Not like some bulky bodybuilder look, but just like healthy, athletic, lean. And it's really targeted towards like young men who are being sold to by this, not sure what to do in the gym. I just want to make things really, really simple for them. So that's going to be coming out later this month. And I'm also working a lot on the podcast. So we have so many cool guests coming out for that. Man, a lot of the guests that we're having on this podcast are like my childhood heroes. It's like unbelievable just knowing that I'm going to get to talk to some of these guys. One of them that like I'll just name drop is like, we have Stone Cold coming on the podcast, which I mentioned earlier, WWF. Like as a kid, I was the biggest wrestling nerd ever. I watched it nonstop. That was my thing. So yeah, we're going to be having him on the podcast. We're going to talk about everything. And I just got to play it cool when he comes on. Like I just got to.
Don't mark out. Don't mark out.
Work out. You got this.
No, not work out. Mark out. If he wrestling fans know, do not mark out in front of your heroes. I know that for sure.
That's what they say, man. But I don't know how not to. Like, dude, I would like play fight against him in my mind as a kid. Like I had his action figure. I had his like belt. So I don't know. We'll see, man. I'll try not to.
Do you still have the action figure?
I should actually have his action figure against mine, like at the podcast. Because I brought in my figure on the podcast just to like decorate the set. That'd be funny.
What's your advice for inspiring actors, for people who are trying to break into the into acting and stuff like that,
Or in this industry?
Okay. So my advice for aspiring actors, and this is also my advice for anyone that wants to do anything, is to learn how to set goals. It's the most important thing. And it's like everybody just skips over this and they're just like, oh, work hard, go for your dreams. And those are both true, but you have to figure out how to achieve things. Like literally the path from, having a dream to turning that dream into a reality is hard work. And there's a lot of people that work really hard that don't achieve that much in their life. I mean, I think we all know people like that. You're like, oh man, that guy works so hard, but like he's not that successful. Mm-hmm. So how do you work hard and become successful? It's from having a focused path. And how do you have a focused path? It's by having a goal. And the goal tells you where to go. So you're not just waking up every day and thinking, I wonder what I should do today. No, you actually have a plan for the year. Like when I told you guys I set a 1-year goal to be on a TV show, that wasn't my only goal for that year. I said, okay, that's the big goal. Now, how do I break that down? I'm going to need an agent. Okay, that's one goal. I'm going to need to build up my resume. So that's another goal. Do some short films, do some theater productions, do some commercials. And then I need to be in the best shape of my life. So I want to really portray myself well. I want to be, ripped and lean and athletic and all of those kind of things that are going to increase my chances of getting a good role. So that's goal number 3. And you take those it's like mini goals, and then you chunk them down. You say, okay, what can I do this month? And then once you have your monthly goals, you say, okay, what do I do this week? And then from the weekly goals, you say, what do I do tomorrow? And then you wake up tomorrow and you do it every single day. And then another really important concept is to never fall off the wagon with that stuff. So a lot of people will work hard on goals for about 1 or 2 or 3 days. They have their New Year's resolutions. And then, like, let's say they're getting tired or they get lazy, or their friends are like, hey, let's go out drinking, or hey, let's go out to party, hey, let's stay out, or whatever. And then they just forget about their goals, and then like a couple days pass by and they're like, oh crap, like I forgot about my goal setting. I didn't work hard enough, and they just give up. And it's like, no, you never ever ever give up on your goals, because that's your life right there. That's your passion, that's your heart, that's your work right there. So you never give up on that stuff. So for me, I think it's really important to set goals every single day and to check off as many of those as you can, and it just gives you a great feeling of pride, of happiness, of accomplishment, and it just makes your day a lot better. I always tell people that are in a slump, if they're depressed or if they're going through a really tough time in life, whether it's family issues or work issues or money issues or whatever it happens to be, I always tell them, look, you got to get exercising, and you got to start setting goals, and you got to start working hard on those. Let's see. I wonder, there's a lot of great books that I've read on goal setting. I'm trying to think of what the best one would be. But basically, guys, that's the format. Set a big goal that you're passionate about, break it all the way down, and work on it every day. And I think you can achieve almost anything like that. And if you don't achieve those things, you'll at least get 75% of the way there. You'll get 90% of the way there. And that's a lot further than you were before. So you might as well take the chance.
You guys, for aspiring actors out there, that's great advice.
Take it from Brody.
Take it from Brody. And it was epic.
Yeah.
So 2 more questions. Now, what is your advice for those getting into the body or basically fitness program or world of fitness?
Well, can you repeat the question?
What is your advice here? So what is your advice for those looking to getting into a good shape, a good body, or getting in the world of fitness?
Oh, okay. So if you want to get into really, really good shape, the most important thing is your diet. So it doesn't matter how hard you train. The diet really does like 80 to 90% of the work. There have been times when I can't even train for a while, but as long as I keep my diet good, like I'm in fantastic shape. So diet's really important. To really break the diet down, here's a few things you should do. For one, you don't want to be eating always throughout the day. It's good to eat fewer meals, and one of my favorite things to do is intermittent fasting. So you skip breakfast, you just drink a cup of coffee or some tea, and then you have lunch and dinner. When you're in that fasted state in the morning, so you fast all the way throughout the night, you extend it into the morning, it really taps into your body fat stores, and it really helps you burn that stubborn body fat. And you also have a ton of energy in the morning because it taps into something called your body's sympathetic nervous system, which is like your fight or flight system. You have a lot more adrenaline, you have a lot more euphoria, you're just excited and you're ready to tackle the day. And then you combine that with a cup of coffee and ooh, it's crazy. But yeah, so I would advise people to implement some intermittent fasting. So eat fewer meals. These fewer meals can be bigger. So I would say just eat lunch and dinner. And for those meals, you want to focus on protein and green veggies. I don't advocate eating carbs at all. I don't tell people that they should eat bread or honestly not even fruits. Don't eat desserts. Don't eat anything like that. I would say just stick to green vegetables like your spinach, your kale, your broccoli, your whatever it happens to be, and then protein. So the protein can be meat, eggs, fish. You want to keep it clean. You don't want to make it fried chicken. There's a lot of ways to do protein wrong, which are usually frying it or adding a bunch of sauce on top of it, which is just sugar. So just keep it to meat and veggies. You basically eat. Okay, so here's what John Cena says about this because he follows the same sort of diet. He says he only eats something if it's green or it had a face. So I would advise people only eat something if it's green or had a face, preferably not both. Um, but yeah, so that's my dietary advice. And then with training, I think that people should be exercising every day. It's an amazing way to start your day, and it's something that you need to have as a lifelong habit. It's just going to make your life so much better. Like, you don't want to be going super heavy. You don't want to be lifting crazy weights and then you injure yourself. And then when you're 80 and when you're 90, like, you can't exercise, you can't walk, you have issues. You want to have this like lifelong habit. So I love the gym. I love lifting weights, but you always want to do it safely. You want to go with kind of moderate to light weights, lots of reps, pump the muscles up, get a really, really good pump. I like to train full body every day. Just exercise your entire body. It gets blood flushing. You know, it's just fantastic for your muscular, your skeletal muscular system, bone density, your health in general. That's what I would recommend people. All of those things I talk about in my programs. The current program that I have out, which is my diet and exercise program, is the Carnivore Shredding Program, which is on the carnivoreshreddingprogram.com. So people can check that out if they want to use that to get in shape and learn more about health and fitness.
Awesome. You hear that, Leonard? You got that?
Hey, I do intermediate fasting as well. Okay,
That's the way to go, man.
you should take his advice, Ryan.
I don't eat breakfast, dude.
How did this become a diss war? Oh no!
Because I think
Together we are family. Remember?
I think the reason being is because what happened was we went to college, and one day I had him work out with me, and he threw up after 30 minutes.
Hey, I was.
And he didn't tell me he did not tell me he didn't eat, and he didn't eat before then. I'm like, why didn't you tell me you ate before?
I was a freshman, all right. I didn't know anything better. Anyway, yeah, we just finished college, so yeah.
I would say this advice does help what you're talking about, Will, especially for people who are 18 and who are like because especially if you're getting into college and you want to start lifting and making yourself healthy. I can tell you now, I made the mistake of I ate whatever I want. I mean, I watch what I ate, but I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'll work this out later. And I would always lift super heavy, and I almost got hurt one time. So I'm like, all right, I got to tone this down a little bit.
Yeah, it's so important. Like, when you're in college, I know a lot of people don't have that much money when they're in college, and they're eating Pop-Tarts and ramen and all that kind of stuff. And I've been there too. I understand that. But if you just learn how to make ground beef, like, it's so simple. You like literally go buy like some cheap ground beef at the store and some eggs and like some spinach, throw it in a pan, put butter on there, heat it up, cook it up. Like, it's so simple. But I know a lot of people are going to hear that and they're like, meh, whatever, I'll go to McDonald's. You can't force people to make good decisions, so whatever.
Funny thing is, this is now going to be the 4th year. I am 4 years into. I stopped eating McDonald's like 4 years ago. So
that's fantastic, man. That's a very, very good step to make.
Yeah. The only thing I will not give is In-N-Out. Sorry.
Dude, In-N-Out, man, like, the meat is actually not that bad quality.
Yeah.
And one thing that you can get there that has no carbs at all is a Flying Dutchman. So it's just 2 meat patties, and then it has 2 cheese patties inside. So all it is just some healthy protein and fat. There's no carbs. There's no bread on it. There's no sauce. So every now and then, if I don't feel like cooking or if I'm, on the go, I'll go to In-N-Out and I'll order. I eat a lot, so I'll order like 6 Flying Dutchmen, sometimes 7. And those things, they're delicious. They're super good. So anybody that's in California or has an In-N-Out near them, check it out. It's really good.
Leonard has the final question before we go to
here's a question about your character Brody. Where do you think your character Brody is in the Power Rangers universe after the events of Ninja Steel? Like, let's say like 10, 15 years later. What do you think he'd be doing right now?
I've been asked that question before, and what do I think Brody would be doing? Man, honestly, I feel like Brody's the kind of person that would like. He's probably a lot like me, but I feel like he would go on to college and he would try to find out what he's interested in there, But Brody was like, his dad was a ninja. He was like very into, martial arts and things like that. So he might open up a dojo or he might do something like that. I'm really not sure. I wish I had a better answer for that. I have no clue. Man, who knows what Brody could be doing right now? Brody might be on the streets making money. I don't know.
He'd probably be a professional wrestler.
Yeah, maybe a professional wrestler.
Oh, man. I hope so. I hope
Dave
so. That would be
Dave
amazing.
Dave Meltzer just gave him a 5-star rating against Kenny Omega.
Actually, that's going to be my answer from now on, and I have you guys to thank for it. Brody in the future is a professional wrestler. Whenever they bring me back for this series, Legendary Ranger, whatever, I'm going to tell them, hey, look, Brody's a professional wrestler now, just so you guys know. So I want my spandex tights. I want my headband. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right, let's read some comments. Joni Urban says, hello.
Hi, Joni.
James Byron.
Hello.
Oh, hi. James Byron Arden says, Brody's cool. Aww.
That's awesome.
Kent Brown says, hey, Will.
Hey, what's up?
Edward Sanchez says, this is epic.
This is definitely epic.
Keeman Malney says, hey, guys. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Keeman?
Edward Sanchez says, Brody, you're more phenomenal.
Oh, man. Thank you, man.
Camille Dolmat. Hey, William, I really like you as a Ninja Steel Red Ranger.
Thank you, Camille. That's awesome.
And Kev Brown is asking, do you have a favorite villain from your season?
I have a fit. Yeah, I like the Phone Pansy.
Oh,
I loved Phone Pansy because I had a line that like I couldn't stop laughing. And it was so late in the day and everybody just wanted to go home, but we had to film this shot. So like I run up and I'm like, you look like a phone and I'm going to hang you up.
I
And,
remember that.
Dude, I must have done that shot like 10 times and I just kept laughing. And like, it's just such a ridiculous line, but I couldn't help myself. So finally we got it. And I think you guys have seen like the bloopers, right? Like they played the bloopers at,
Morphin.
yeah, I thought.
Yeah, Morphin. Yeah, so that was one of the bloopers there. But yeah.
Edward Sanchez says, what was it like to work with Christiani?
Crazy. Christy's a really cool person, and she's a very genuine person. She's also very high energy, so take that as you will.
Okay, Camille. Yeah, Edward Sanchez says, together we are a family, and Camille says, epic is your catchphrase. Aw.
We actually did tally up how many times you said epic throughout the season.
Oh my gosh, how many times?
Like 6. Oh my god, it's a lot.
I think it went close to 80.
Yeah, that was like 80. We actually counted it. Camille Dolmat says, hey William, have you really met the Power Rangers Dino Charge series cast yet?
Yes, I've met pretty much all of them. I don't know Camille that well, and I don't know Claire Blackwelder. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know them as well, but I know Brennan real well. He's a good friend. Yoshi's a good friend. Davi's a good friend. Oh, I don't know the Green Ranger from that season well either. I forget his name.
Michael Tabor?
Yes, Michael Tab something.
Tabor or Tabor?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know him that well, so but yeah, like Yoshi and Brennan and the other guy, like we're all good with them.
Lazarus, from Greece. He says, hello everyone, hello William, greetings from a fan from Greece. Aw.
Hey, Lazarus.
Hey, what's up from Greece? Wow, that's awesome.
Adam,
that's definitely a great name.
Lazarus, it is. Adam Buzio Zabiskli. Sorry, I don't want to butcher your name.
Adam Fuzio Zabutsky. Zabetsky. There you go.
Hello, cheers from Poland. Oh, Poland.
What's up,
Shouts to
Adam?
Javier Alejandro Lopez. You're becoming a fit and such an inspiration. I'm crossing fingers that you can attend either Ranger Stop this year so I can finally meet you again.
Oh, awesome, Javier. Well, that's great. You'll have to remind me where we first met, but I'd love to meet you again. I would love to go to Ranger Stop. I'm working with my convention agent to make sure that I get out to as many conventions as I can this year. So I'll definitely be seeing as I can. And yeah, I'm excited for that. That's awesome.
Awesome. Alyssa Rivera. Hi, Will.
Hey, what's up, Alyssa?
Eric Sanchez. Oh, this is a good question. What was it like to film the 20th anniversary episode?
That was my favorite episode to film, probably. It was just really, really cool. There was a whole different vibe there because you had so many of these people that their lives have been so changed by Power Rangers. You know, you had Jason David Frank there and Catherine Sutherland, Jason Font, and just the whole cast of these Rangers. Yeah, it was really, really fun. We all got along so well. Like, we didn't know what the vibe would be if they would kind of, like, you never know if somebody's going to come on set and try to act like a celebrity or act a certain way, or if they're just going to be cool and genuine and it's going to be fun to hang out. But it was completely cool. They were all super genuine, super nice to us. And they really liked the camaraderie that our cast had. So they would always get along really well, and that's good to see. Because, I mean, the honest truth is that not every Power Rangers cast has gotten along super well. Like, obviously, when they say action, you better get along. But, you know, like the behind-the-scenes stuff, people don't always get along that well, and sometimes there are issues. Our cast got along really well, and we always made it work. So I think that they were happy to see that. I remember with us, like the guys, like especially me and Jordy, we're like complete meatheads. It's funny that we play brothers in the season because we honestly are kind of like brothers in real life, like complete meatheads. But we knew that Jason David Frank was going to be coming in, and he, you know, he's done his MMA fights. He's a tough guy, and he has like an online persona. You know, he sometimes picks fights with certain people, stuff like that. So we're like, oh man, this guy's going to be coming on set. Like, we'll show him what's up. Let's see what he's about. And like within a couple days of him being there, we had pulled a prank on him just to see how he would react. And he was so cool. Like the dude completely like laughed about it. He thought it was hilarious, and he still brings it up to this day. Peter and Yoshi were involved in this prank as well. You'll have to ask them what it was. But yeah, like the dude was just the coolest. So whatever people think about him, I have nothing but good things to say about him. He was a great guy to us.
Awesome. Kevin Steakley says, "Yo, what's up, Will?"
Hey, how's it going, Kevin?
Jay Ton says hello.
Hey, Jay.
Oh, that's a good. And it's from Alyssa. Would you be up for Avengers if Marvel asked you?
Who would say no to that? Imagine me saying, it's not my kind of thing. No, I would absolutely be up for Avengers. Generally, man, like you can never, ever, ever wait for these people to ask you for that stuff. So my plan and my goals for the upcoming future are to really work as hard as I can to make opportunities like that available for myself. And to get to that level, like people don't realize how much work actors do to get to that level. A lot of people think like they're discovered, or somebody finds them and they're like, hey, you'd be great for this role. And they just sort of walk into it, or they get lucky. Like, no, any actor you see on a movie screen has worked their butts off to get there. It takes so much work, so many auditions, classes, coaching, getting turned down by different agents, getting turned down by casting directors. You deal with a lot of rejection. You're trying to figure out how to make money while you're a struggling actor, all these kind of things. So I have nothing but respect for everybody that's up there on the big screen, on the small screen. And it's definitely my goal to move back in the direction of acting in the coming years. So yeah, it's just going to be a lot of work, and I'm really excited to do it.
Awesome. We'll read a few more questions. What was the hard part of filming Power Rangers, Edward Sanchez?
It was just long hours. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, there are definitely harder jobs to work, that's for sure. But yeah, for me, it was mainly trying to balance priorities, because you're spending like most of your day on set, like 12 hours a day. You're pretty much on set, and you're doing this 5 to 6 days a week. On the 6th day, you're usually doing ADR. So it's a full day. And now outside of that, you have to make sure that you're doing your fitness. You want to be eating healthy or cooking. You want to be trying to see sights. You need to call your family. You need to manage your life back home. You're trying to maintain relationships with your friends. It's just balancing a lot of priorities, but you have to be delivering on set all the time. So it's a tricky thing, and then you got to make sure somewhere in there you sleep. So I think that was the main thing that I found a little bit difficult early on, and I was just starting to catch my stride with this as the season was ending, but it was really just managing my time and figuring out what to do when and how to manage priorities. So, but that's just a part of life, and that comes with any job.
All right. Oh, from Kayla Ray. Oh, you're new. And hello, Kayla. William, have you ever met any of the first cast of MMPR? All the OG cast.
I've met all of them except for Amy Jo Johnson and Austin St. John. So yeah, I've met David Yost. I've met, dang, I'm forgetting his name. Man, it's not Jason David Frank, the other Ranger from that season.
Walter Jones.
Walter Jones, yes, Walter Jones. I've met him. Obviously, Jason David Frank. So yeah, I've met most of them, but I haven't met AJJ and ASJ.
Oh.
So yeah, hopefully that'll be happening here at a convention or somewhere in the near future. That'd be really cool because they really did make their way into pop culture in a huge way and really impacted and influenced so many people. So yeah, it'd be really cool to meet them.
Will you do anything about? Do you know anything about Ninja Steel and Beast Morphers team up? Oh, well, I don't know if you can say that.
I can say because I can accurately say no. There currently, to my knowledge, there isn't a team up planned, and if there is, I probably can't tell anyone. But yeah, to my knowledge, currently there's nothing of that nature planned.
Shane, we need you back though.
What's that?
We need you back.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. So thank you. Sorry I couldn't read all the comments because the software can only last for an hour. But thank you again so much, Will, for being a guest. And,
absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Where can your fans find you in social media?
They can find me at William Shewfelt. That's my Instagram. William SHEWFELT. And then I'm also on YouTube, youtube.com/Will Shewfelt. And if they're interested in hearing interviews that I've been doing with celebrities, health and fitness people, actors, that would be Buster. You can search for that in the podcast app. Wherever you find podcasts, it's there. And yeah, that's pretty much where I'm most active. I'm pretty much most active on Instagram. So, I feel like going live on Instagram today. So y'all can find me live on Instagram today at some point.
So, Leonard, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram at @thereckless_fox. You can find me on my YouTube page, reckless_fox. I will be putting my reaction to the Resident Evil 2 demo on there. And you can find all my latest gaming content on twitch.tv/recklessfox. Ryan, where can they find you?
Instagram, dancerboy247. That's it.
All right. Before we go, I want to say this. Clement, who also works with us, wanted to say Will should be a member of Bullet Club from New Japan.
Bullet Club? What is that?
It's a New Japan stable. Like AJ Styles and Finn Balor were part of it at one point and stuff like that. So yeah.
Oh, okay. We're talking wrestling. Hell yeah.
Yeah, we're talking.
I'm in.
Me and Clement, who's are big wrestling fans, we're the only wrestling fans in the group. So.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Okay. When we do that episode with Stone Cold, we're probably going to bring on some other wrestlers as well. My podcast partner, his name is Chris Bell, and he is he literally got John Cena into wrestling. Like, they were buddies before John Cena was in wrestling, and he's the guy that said, hey, look, you need to audition for WWE, you need to get involved in this, and he got him into it. So Chris, his older brother was a WWE wrestler as well. He was Mad Dog. But yeah, so Chris, we're definitely going to be bringing on lots of wrestlers. Me and him are both obsessed with wrestling. If you guys haven't seen the documentary Bigger, Stronger, Faster,
I have.
Yeah, that's Chris Bell produced that, and he was the guy that was interviewing everyone in that. He's my podcast partner. So we're probably going to be bringing on people. Probably the one guy that I might be most excited for besides Stone Cold, I would have to say would be Shawn Michaels. He, to me, I think he's the greatest wrestler of all time. Um, man, back in the day, like, I don't know if your fans are familiar with DX, but D Generation X was just the coolest, baddest, most rebellious. Yeah, I almost want to say their catchphrase right now, but I probably shouldn't.
Say it in your IG live. Say it in IG live.
Say it in IG live, yeah.
Yeah, I'll say it on there. But they were just the coolest wrestling group ever. So I would love to have Shawn Michaels on there, but we'll see if he can make it out. I think he's based out of Texas.
San Antonio, I believe.
Yeah, he's in San Antonio.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. Thank you, Will, for being our special guest again. Yeah, this is Morphin Network. You can find us Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Yeah. So thank you guys again and have a lovely Saturday. See you guys.
Later, guys.